If you try a single item run, you'll immediately sub. I will do that. But first, we're gonna do a tier list. Everybody loves a tier list. Especially Frithian, he loves them. We're just gonna do a little tier list on who the hardest character is, or who the hardest characters are. Where, hey, content, valuable content. But I'd like to hear you guys' input as well, because I reckon we may have a little bit of a different thing on it. Tainted Jacob, of course. I probably agree with you, actually. There we go. All right. I'm gonna get my buff head out of the way. Whoop, there we go. All right. Since the patch is way easier, yes, he is. He is a lot easier. I will definitely agree with that. Before, he was 100% the hardest character, for sure. That's Blue Baby for you. Regular Blue Baby or the Tainted? You would say Tainted Lazarus, Tainted Blue Baby, or Tainted Eden as the hardest? Yeah. Okay. I reckon Tainted Blue Baby is a little bit tricky when you first start him, but I think he actually is like not too bad once you get him going. Tainted Lazarus is OP since patch. I still think he's pretty tough. Let's change this. All right, we're gonna go hardest at the top. And then hard. What should the middle tier be called? I don't know. Neither hard nor soft. And then we've got easy, a Lamau. I need to make another tier here. Azazel. Azazel goes here. Wait, is that how you spell his name? Yes, it is. It looks weird. Doesn't that look weird? I don't know. I'm gonna zoom in slightly so you guys can see it a bit better. All right, so first up, we got Apollyon. I think Apollyon's pretty easy. You reckon Apollyon's hard? I reckon Apollyon's pretty easy. He starts with the Void, which is just bonkers. You reckon medium? I reckon he's pretty easy. Borb 14. Hello, you have a negative 50 win, a negative 56 win streak. That's rough. Have you been playing Tainted Lost? So the reason why I think Apollyon is good or like easier is because the Void pretty much turns bad items into stats, which is just ridiculous. Like you can turn an item you wouldn't take into useful stats, right? When you started, you had 150 losses in a row. Dang. Oh well, Borb, you may as well go to negative 69, eh? Am I right? I reckon Apollyon's easy. The only thing that can be a little bit sketchy is he has 2 health to begin with, and sometimes you can get wrecked in the early game. The only time I ever lose with Apollyon is it on like the first couple floors for some reason. But if you live beyond like the first couple of floors, he just is like a snowball machine. But I still think he's easy. Void is good because of how many shit items there are in the game. Yeah, and he turns all the shit items into like, you know, I mean, obviously you're not always going to get good stuff, but yeah. Azazel goes there. Bethany is like a Lamau, I reckon. Is she actually? As long as in the early game you're doing okay, she's pretty, I'd say, maybe not a Lamau. She's definitely easy though, I think. Maybe not a Lamau, just because at the beginning, she's vulnerable. If you don't get your angel deal, she can actually be a little bit, yeah. Bethany kind of sucks because no soul hearts. Yeah, but the thing is, those soul hearts get turned into like charges on your book, and you're just like, oh, I have wisps. Oh, can't touch this. Maybe you suck at playing intentionally at 1 heart. With Eve, nah, I think Eve's sort of tough because she's got low damage. Blue Baby, yeah, hard, I'd say. Just because, yeah, soul hearts only. Tricky, right? And there's nothing good about him. He has the poop. He has more damage. He has a damage multiplier, right? I think, or slight damage multiplier, which is like the only good thing about him, right? 1 tier lower, you reckon? Why do you say that? Oh, he's got a tiers multiplier? Really? I didn't know that. Blue Baby is sure as hard as is sure as hell hard. I'd say I'm not saying he's really hard. I'm just saying he's hard. Like he's harder than the average character. I still think he goes here. What about Kane? I think Kane goes in the middle. Kane goes in the middle, I think. He starts with 1.3 speed, so he's good early on. He's got damage multiplier. The Luckfoot got buffed, which is like sort of good. Kane is easy. Is he? I don't know. Kane is good because pills. If he's easy, he's at like the bottom. So as in like he's the hardest easy character, I would say. Then if you're gonna put him in easy, I think he's in the middle. I really do. The only downside is rat shit range. I forgot Kane had such terrible range, and I'm like I tried to do a Kane run the other day, and I'm like, why can't I hit anything? I have to like go up and kiss them pretty much. Eden. Eden is pretty much like, do you get an okay start? If so, you're okay, but you can get wrecked. I think Eden goes in the middle because it really is dependent on RNG with Eden. So the way we'll do it is, the higher the characters are to the left, the harder they are. You've got an arc here as Eden and Binge Eater together at the start. That's insane. Eve, I don't know if Eve's hard. She just sucks. Eve is fine. You think Eve goes in the middle or hard? Eve is harder than Eden. I agree with that. If I put her in hard, she's probably at the bottom of hard, just because she's very weak. You played Eden once via Steam Remote Play and got IBS and ESL Junior. Alright, I think she goes in the bottom of hard. The Forgotten, Lamau. Forgotten's a bit of an A-Lamau. Forgotten is pretty much just like an absolute early game buster, but does fall off a little bit later on. But it doesn't matter because like you just plow through the early game. What's IBS? It's annoying is what it is. It's irritable bowel syndrome. That's what it stands for. But yeah, you'll just randomly be shooting and then all of a sudden you've got a poop in your hand and you've stopped shooting. I think the Forgotten is like an absolute beast until you get to like the later bosses. But the thing is, because you've just bossed the early game, you're generally going to have a good run later on. Isaac, the D6 is ridiculous to start with. I'm not sure if he's in the A Lamau category, but he's definitely easy. Probably I think he's better than Bethany and Napoleon. Is he better than Napoleon? I think we're probably going to switch that around. I think Napoleon's better than Bethany. I don't think he's better. I think Isaac's better than Napoleon though. Isaac with D6 is easy to win. Without he's meh. Yeah, without he's just in the middle. But because he has the D6, he's quite a lot better. Jacob and Iso, definitely very hard. I think if you've played this character even once, you know why. Controlling two people is pretty difficult. Judas. So Judas is like, you pretty much, as Judas, you're Monka S, actually more like Monka W, Monka Extreme, whatever you've got, any Monka emote, until you get a health up or a soul heart, because you can get one shot by a bunch of stuff. He's extremely fragile early on, but like if you are able to get going with him, he just absolutely annihilates because of his damage multiplier. And the book of, he starts with the book of forgotten it, but the book that gives you damage up. Does that it still gives you an extra devil chance, doesn't it? Or did they remove that? I can't remember. So I'm wondering where I should put Judas. So the thing is, Judas is really hard early on, but then like he's just a glass cannon. I think he goes in the middle because overall, once you get going with him, he's really good. Keeper. Keeper's pretty tough. I'm assuming Keeper has like all of the upgrades that you can get for him, because without them, he's ridiculously hard. He's pretty dang hard. Just because you can die real easy. I think he's hard. Is he harder than Blue Baby? I think so. I think he's tough. I wouldn't say he's in the hardest, but he's definitely tough. Like, he's hard. Lazarus is probably in here somewhere, about here. He's probably slightly harder than Cain. Yeah, I think he just goes in the middle. Lilith. Let's see. I'm not sure. You reckon Lilith is hard? I don't have as many problems as what a lot of other people have had with Lilith. I mean, a lot of people are annoyed by the fact that you shoot only from the incubus. Once you get used to it, it's not as bad. And Lilith starts with 2 black hearts, which is so good for getting your first devil deal. Like, you don't have to worry about getting any soul hearts. I think she's pretty good early on. And she starts with the box of friends, so you literally get double damage. I mean, not quite, but you know what I mean. You got double damage with the box. She's really, I think she's not that hard, actually, as long as you can like use her properly. I don't know if she's easy though. I'd probably put her in the middle somewhere. I'd probably put her in here. Yeah, put it there. The Lost. Hard. I don't know if there's anything else much to say about The Lost. Just hard. Don't get hit twice in any room, Lamau. But starting with flying is like pretty good. Pretty much any character that starts with flying is just like ridiculous. Now let's see, harder than Eve, yeah, harder than Blue Baby. Is he in hardest? He probably is in hardest. Maybe at the top of hard. Once you know how to play with The Lost, he's not as bad as what you think. Just don't get hit, right? Is he really that hard? Yeah, he's pretty hard. You get hit twice in any room, you're dead. Like, that's any character that has that happen, it's very difficult. Sometimes you just get wrecked. I'd probably put him at the top of hard. Maggie? I think Maggie's pretty easy. I think she's easier than Kane. Does she go in easy or the bottom of the middle? She starts with 4 hearts and she has the heart. Very good. Probably at the top of easy, I think. Like these 3 are definitely better than her. Samson. Now, is Samson easier than Maggie or harder? I'd probably put him about here, I think, in the middle. I don't know. I think he goes about here. Is he better than Kane? What do you guys think? Is he easier than Kane? Probably not. I think he's right on about Kane. So that's all the normal characters. All right, here we go. Tainted characters. Tainted Napoleon. Yeah, he's pretty good. I think he goes in easy because once again, you can turn all those crappy items and crappy spacebar items as well this time into flies, which I think is really good. Is he easier than Napoleon? I think so, because you're guaranteed to fly. Sometimes when you use the void, you just get shit stats up. Yeah, you can take a good spacebar item if you want. That's true. That makes it a lot better than Napoleon. Is he better than Isaac? Probably, actually. I think he sits right about here. Is he better than Isaac? I'm not sure. D6 is really strong, but being able to turn anything into like damage is just ridiculous. I think I'm gonna put him there. Tainted Azazel, probably on the easy side, but I'm not sure where. Probably about here, I think. Just having the beam weapon is just really powerful. I know it doesn't do as much damage or whatever, but I think he goes about here. Is he better than Napoleon? I think yeah, maybe, I think about here. Tainted Bethany. She is like full Alamau. Probably almost at the top, I think. She is ridiculous. Like actually ridiculous. The only bad thing about her is the soul hearts only, which is, but like the thing is you turn red hearts into Lemesidan procs and you're just like laughing. She's ridiculous. She actually is ridiculous. I think she's better than the Forgotten, which is pretty insane. I'm going by the whole run here. The Forgotten blows her out of the water early on, but she goes ballistic like by the end of the run. Next up is Tainted Blue Baby. When you first play this character, it's pretty tough. I think he goes in hard. Is he harder than regular Blue Baby? I think so. The thing is, his poops can be good, but like he starts off pretty weak. Is he harder than Keeper? I don't know. Yeah, I think he goes in here. Is he harder than the Lost? He can be. He's pretty meh early on. Probably at the probably up here, I think. He's not quite in the hardest category, but he's definitely hard. No, we got to make a new category. Sorry, guys. Tainted Kane is a literal god. In he goes. The easiest character because you can just make anything you want. You could do a million runs and you'd never lose with him if you know what you're doing. Actually, unlosable. All right, here we go. Tainted Eden. Tainted Eden is a freaking nightmare. I think Tainted Eden's sort of annoying, but how hard? I don't think Eden goes in the hardest. I think Eden goes in hard, but I'm not sure where. Above Keeper. Yeah, I think so. I think about here's right. Yeah, you do just get wrecked sometimes by RNG. Eve. I think Eve actually got harder because of what they did to her clots. I haven't played her a lot, but I think she's harder than what she used to be. She used to be like pretty easy actually, but now I don't think so. I think she might be sort of hard actually. She's hard early on. I think she goes in hard, but I'm not sure where, because once you get going, I think she's okay. Maybe about here's right, maybe there. The Forgotten. I don't know. This is a tricky one. I think the Forgotten is like good early on, and against some bosses, it's freaking hard. Against the Delirium, this guy is really hard. He does pretty well against some bosses. You reckon it goes into easy? I'm not sure. I was thinking in the middle. I think the Forgotten falls off later on, but it's really good against some bosses, like Hush. Against Hush, this guy's like the ultimate. You just plop the bones down and yeah. You once got double sack dagger with the Tainted Forgotten. Holy moly. Once you get some orbitals going on this guy, and there is other items that are good with him, it does make it easier. Maybe he does go in easy, but I don't know. I reckon he's probably, if he's in easy, he's probably at the top of easy. Yeah, actually, nah, I'm not, I reckon maybe easier than Maggie, maybe. Tainted Isaac. Tainted Isaac is really good early, and then once you hit your 8 cap, your power level sort of plateaus a bit. So I think he goes in the middle here, does Isaac, because he does become pretty tough late at like the late game when you don't get like your items just don't upgrade as much. But I reckon he's pretty fun to play actually. I like him. I think he might be somewhere in here. I think about here. Tainted Jacob definitely goes up here. He's not as hard as he used to be, but I still think he's really hard because you're under constant duress to keep dodging him, and like there's no other character like him in that regard. Tainted Judas. I'm actually considering putting Tainted Napoleon into a Lamau I think Judas goes down here somewhere. In easy. No. A Lamau for Tainted Judas? Really? There's damage farming with Dark Arts. I guess Dark Arts is pretty dang good. The thing is, I actually think I do better with Napoleon than I do with Judas, Tainted Judas. The reason why I'm not as like confident to put him in A Lamau is because he can't pick up red hearts. That's the one thing. If you don't get any like drops for it, it can be tricky, like if you're not careful. I think I'll put him at the bottom here. I'm gonna move to Tainted Napoleon into A Lamau. I think he's actually that good. The baby plum attack with a lot of bullets can give you 10 plus damage. He's really good against some bosses and stuff, and I think Dark Arts is really good, but the thing that does make him hard is the fact he can't get red hearts. And I know that's the same deal with Bethany, but Bethany can pick up red hearts and make them into charges, and that's why she's down there. I think he belongs here though. He's still, I definitely think he's really good, but I don't think he's quite in the A Lamau category. Tainted Keeper. This guy is a very fun character, but how hard is he? I think he's pretty hard because he only has 2 health. He's pretty hard. I wouldn't say he's in the hardest category, but he's definitely hard. He probably belongs in about here. Is he harder than Keeper? I don't know. He's probably right next to Keeper, actually. All the items you get are helpful. That's right. The shops are just like mother loads of goodies. Is he easier than Tainted Eve? Nah, I don't know. I don't think so. I think he goes here. Tainted Lazarus. Yeah, up here. Even after the changes. But is he harder or easier than Jacob and Esau? Probably. Not as hard as Tainted Jacob though, I don't think. I think he does live up there. I found him pretty tough still, even with the changes, but maybe I just need to get good. Tainted Lilith is A Lamau. Agreed. I actually think she's better than the Forgotten. I think she goes here. She's just a powerhouse early on. And then you just like, lol, win the game. Tainted Lost. So this is my most played character, I think. Tainted Lost is hardest 100%. I have more trouble with Tainted Jacob. Maybe I just have to get better at Tainted Jacob. You reckon Tainted Lost is hardest, the 100%? I don't know about that because he gets such good items all the time. He starts with flying. His damage multiplier is bonkers. Maybe I'm just biased because he's like one of my favorite characters. Because pretty much every run is like winnable because you just always get insane items. But he's the ultimate glass cannon. Tainted Jacob can get at least more than 1 hit. I mean, you could technically get more than 1 hit with this guy, right? His birthright, if you can get his birthright, he's actually like, that makes it a lot easier. And you do see birthright fairly often. I don't know, I do anyway, for some reason, on him. Definitely very, very difficult. I think it's pretty close between these two, I will admit, guys. You can insta-die at any moment. Yeah, I mean, if you're not careful, the same thing can happen with this guy. But the thing is, this guy, you're constantly dodging, right? You're constantly dodging. Whereas this guy, you just have to worry about the enemies in the room. When you have to worry about constantly dodging Dark Esau and the enemies in the room, it gets really hard. You have to play in a very particular way with this guy. You have to play super defensively. You can almost put them in a tier of their own because it's like the difference to the next one is like, I think it's pretty decent. Tainted Maggie. I actually have a bit of a hard time with her for some reason. She's sort of tough, I think. She's probably in here, I think. I don't think she's like super tough. Probably put her in the top of here. Tainted Samson. Where does Samson go? Samson's pretty good like early on, but then he drops off. Probably goes in the middle somewhere here, doesn't he? Probably about here. I think about here is right. Yeah, or is Isaac easier? Tainted Isaac easier? I'm not sure. I think he goes about here. Tainted Jacob, Tainted Lost, Tainted Lazarus, Jacob and Esau is the hardest. I think everyone agrees with that, right? You wouldn't put anyone else in there. Is the Lost harder than Blue Baby? I think the Lost might be harder than Blue Baby, guys, I think. Yeah, I think so. All right, so this is the finalized list. I think putting the Lost above Blue Baby is the right call.